So a lot of crazy stuff is happening in the markets right now, guys. So I want to try to break down as many things as possible. But hey, there's only so many things I could focus in one podcast. So if you have further questions after reviewing this information, feel free to schedule a call and talk to a coach here at Touch Your Market Moves. Now, guys, the market is not fucking moving again. Minus 20 points, plus 20 points on what? 3.3% GDP? How the fuck is nobody selling? Are you kidding me? 3.3% GDP. We can have a separate conversation on the validity of that number, but let's say the 3.3% GDP number today is real. What does this mean for the rate cuts? Well, who the fuck cuts rate when GDP is at 3.3%? How fucking ridiculous is this? So you think everything that Powell just talked about in Jackson Hole like 4 days ago, you would think, well, the market's got to rethink that. And that would be a reason for some institutions to come in and say, hold on, maybe what we thought was going to be a sure rate cut in September is no longer so. Or maybe at least the probability of it just went down by quite a bit. 3.3% GDP, holy shit. Who cuts rates when the economy, we're in the boom of all booms, 3.3%, holy shit. I mean, and we're talking about rate cuts? What the fuck? So instead, the market, of course, no fucking reaction, right? So number one thing to consider, right, when you're there, and just trades are supposed to be going in the move expansion direction to the downside, but they're just not going there. They're not fucking going there, and they're not going there again. And you keep putting on this trade now for 4 days in a row. Leo, aren't you fucking tired of it? Well, thank God we had some good fucking trades, guys, right? So there is a major divergence here right now between what crypto is doing. Crypto's been making a decent size move expansion to the downside. If you look at Ethereum, if you look at Bitcoin, if you look at a couple of other coins that we trade options on, they've been making decent size moves on the expansion to the downside. And shockingly, today is another confirmation of that when indexes are up. And normally when NASDAQ is up, you normally have crypto up as well. But that's not the case. No, Bitcoin is down a little, but Ethereum is down over 100 points again. So that's not normally something you would see when indexes are setting all-time highs, which, by the way, S&P set all-time high, really just squeezed it. I mean, I'm not even sure. It all looks like machine buying to me, guys. I mean, there's no validity between these purchases on this market. It seems like just the machines are programmed to be making these small buys and buying the pullbacks, which are really small size pullbacks. But what that translates to is something very simple. Okay, the very definition of the market. Okay, the reason why the market is basically every day, yeah, they're celebrating in the news the all-time highs, but guess what? It's a big problem because we're not getting there on any significant volume, and the number of buyers, like the buyers are literally fucking gone. The buyers are gone. That's why sometimes you look at your computer screen and it looks like it's frozen because the S&P 500 index is like plus minus a few points for the entire fucking day. It's just like it's not moving. And that only happens when two conditions are met. One condition is the number of buyers. Each day the market proceeds to a slightly higher level. The number of people willing to buy the market with good size positions is going lower. So, it's no secret. Hey, some companies reported great earnings like Nvidia, okay, but who gives a shit? Like, okay, it's already at such a level that some people decided to take a little bit of money off the table. And therefore, you're not getting like a huge sell-off in Nvidia, but you're also getting less people interested at the current time to buy the stock at the current level. So you don't get a sell-off, you don't get a pump, Okay, nobody wins. I mean, the bears don't win, the bulls don't win. It's the worst kind of market you can have is when shit is just not moving. Okay? And if we're to break down, like if you're bullish in the market, you're not making any fucking money. And thank God to crypto and some oil trades, I mean, there were some, they were the ones that, kept some of our traders in the profit zone. But I ain't gonna sit here and tell you it was a great week. It was a shitty week, guys, because we kept betting with the profits we made on crypto and all. We kept betting on this move expansion to the downside on the indexes, which honestly has been way overdue, but it was particularly due on Friday, and it didn't happen. And sometimes when you get a move to the upside like that on a Federal Reserve top catalyst, it will be reversed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for sure. And historically, there is like a 90+% probability of that, and it didn't happen. And today, on a 3%, 3.3% GDP, you think people would start getting worried whether the rate cut is for real for September, but nobody's fucking worried. The market is not worried about a damn thing. Somehow they think that Federal Reserve is still going to cut rates at 3.3% GDP. So, of course, the most concerning thing is, if you're bullish in the market, and for example, you bought calls on S&P 500 yesterday, whether you bought S&P 500 calls on futures or whether you bought SPY calls yesterday, thinking that, hey, NVIDIA is going to have this blowout quarter, right? And you're going to make money on calls. Most of the people probably just bought NVIDIA calls because we're like, wow, there's going to be a great fucking report, AI fucking all in, right? And, well, they didn't make money on calls on NVIDIA. Any sort of NVIDIA-related plays in the technology, none of these stocks went up today. Meta was stuck all day. Apple went a couple of dollars lower recently, a couple of dollars high. It's like all of these technology stocks, a lot of the stocks that you would think would go higher on NVIDIA report, for example, such as ASML, and that finished in the red, but nothing significant. It wasn't like 30 points in the red. It was a few points red. You have, some companies that really should have rocketed higher based off NVIDIA report just didn't do nothing. So the market is stuck, and the only way for the market to get unstuck, I mean, here's the main point of this conversation, is if less and less people are willing to be buying this market at this level, okay, then by definition, the market has to come down for more people to get interested in buying it. Now, that does not discount the fact that, unfortunately, these ridiculously small moves on which the bulls get killed and the bears get killed, you have both situations, right? On S&P 500, if you're focused on trading the indexes, you got burned in either direction. I mean, and I'll say this, I mean, options were profitable instantly if you bought put options, that is, ahead of NVIDIA earnings, instantly after NVIDIA earnings report. Options were dropping sharply, but guess what? Going into the NVIDIA report and into today's GDP number, you would have to buy today's expiration, not yesterday, and today's expiration last night before NVIDIA report and today's GDP number. They were way overpriced, so you couldn't make a shitload of money in those. So this morning they were a lot better priced, but guess what? The trade pumps above 6,500, then it sells off. So, but based at the options pricing and the 20-point drop, I mean, those options basically just slightly more than doubled. That's it. Okay, and then of course you get the bounce, you get another drop. So depending on your entries and exits, you could have made a little bit of money today, but nothing huge, right? And certainly enough, based off the criteria and the levels, it looks like we could have had a move 6 today. Fucking nothing, right? I mean, it just squeezes another fucking 10 points high at the end of the day instead of giving us a 40-point move to the downside. So the question is this. I mean, would you do anything different? Would you change your strategy just because the market right now is completely mind-fucking you? Well, I wouldn't change anything, right? When Powell said he was going to cut rate into stagflation, that's not a reason to buy the market. That's a reason to short the market, okay? When you have an outcome where the market in era responds to a Federal Reserve catalyst, oftentimes there is a huge reversal follow through on the next few trading sessions. What do? You short the market. You don't buy it. So there's nothing that we would have done fucking different. Okay, it just time in the market is a bitch sometimes, and everything could be pointing to the fact that it's here, and it's not fucking happening. It's not fucking happening. It's not fucking happening. So what do? Well, that's not the moment, okay, where you go and change your strategy, because if you do, and the market fucking falls the fuck out tomorrow, next day, next week, okay, and you're in the middle sitting trying some new strategies, which is because this strategy didn't work this week, okay, and the move expansion did not come. It came in certain sectors like crypto, which is a big tell by itself that crypto is always just a few steps ahead of the market. So the fact that crypto is making a move expansion and the markets are setting all-time highs, but crypto is going lower, that to me, that's a bear divergence. And normally in 99% of instances, this bear divergence will resolve into the market indexes curving lower in the direction of where crypto's been going, since Sunday. So, and what's shocking is the fact that there are no dip buyers in crypto. They're all of a sudden, all them Ethereum deep buyers are gone. Nobody's buying. Like Bitcoin is sizably down from a high of 125. I mean, it's around 111, 112 right now. Nobody's buying a fucking dip. And they used to be buying the dips in Bitcoin. Like, hey, if this thing drops 3,000 points, they were there to buy it, right? But now it's down 14,000 points within just a couple of trading sessions off the top. Nobody wants to touch it. So that tells you that there's certain market sectors and components and behaviors within certain sectors that are definitely pointing that the bear momentum is about to begin. But yet, we're facing a challenge. The main challenge, as far as the index is concerned, is the fact that there are fewer and fewer buyers each day, and that's why the market is only able to move by just a little fucking bit higher on the indexes. The main dilemma is there are no sellers. There are no sellers. The market hasn't had sellers. The market is up from April lows up till now 30% and there are no fucking sellers. So I think that's a very important question to ask yourself as a trader. What the fuck? There's not a precedent to that in history, where the market proceeds making these tiny ass little moves on daily basis, because every time it moves higher, all these institutional investors are like, well, I'll wait to buy the dip. Well, the dip doesn't come. So, index moves slightly higher. Okay, now, it's 10 points higher than yesterday, for example. They're like, well, fuck. I mean, I'll wait for the dip. The dip never comes, so they'll finally say, okay, well, I'll just, just in case, I'll just start nibbling. I'll just start buying a little bit. So there's no substance. There's no volume. Like, some institutions keep buying just because they're so blinded by the potential of these rate cuts that are coming up, and that's certainly not the reason to be buying the market when it's facing, stagflation case, despite of this GDP number. I mean, there's two things that are happening. I mean, if you believe that the economy is growing so fucking fast and furious, 3.3% GDP, then obviously you're not in this stagflation camp. Okay, but then what do you think is going to happen if, like, anytime the Federal Reserve has cut rates in in an inflationary environment, right? Because, hey, if the economy is so great and we're doing so great, okay, and you're going to cut rates, what's going to happen? Inflation's going to go to the moon. So, which should in turn cause the Federal Reserve to raise rates, right? So, this is a checkmate sort of environment for somebody who really understands like the basics of economics here. You can't have both. It's either strong economy and you don't cut rates, or you get a shitty economy, okay, where the job market is falling apart, and then you really have an excuse to cut rates. But even with all that, historically, you don't cut rates when inflation's running higher and the job market is falling apart, okay? You look back in the history, the only way to get out of stagflation is to raise rates. So, the market shockingly is just pricing that everything is going to be okay somehow after it's up 30% consecutively for 5 fucking months in a row and nobody's fucking selling anything. To me, it's a situation where, the natural disaster is way overdue, and it is going to happen. And some people are asking the question, well, what's going to be the catalyst? Why is the market going to drop? Well, sometimes, like in 1929 crash, there was no catalyst. You came in to the stock exchange that day, and the shit was just, it began to sell off. So, and continued selling off the next day, and the fucking next day, and the day after that. And sometimes some of your biggest drops in the market, your catalyst is going to be the absence of catalyst. That's how stupid and ridiculous this is. So the question is, or another way to phrase this is okay, what is the case for the market to continue higher from here? What is the case? Because everything that we know is already priced in. The rate cut, which, by the way, the probability of which now is less, okay, the market didn't give a shit about it today. The market didn't care about Fed cutting rates into stagflation. Should have sold off Friday. Didn't. Like, nothing that happens matters. The market is just saying, hey, we're in the AI revolution. We're going to grow. The economy is going to be fine. The job market is going to be fine. Fed on top of that is going to be cutting rates. There's no reason to sell the market. That's the current consensus. So I don't know of anybody that made big money betting with the consensus. Any big trades I've ever put together, or I've helped a bunch of students put some big trades together, they were always in the opposite direction of consensus. So, and basically what I'm saying, there's so many things that are just so priced in right now. The rate cuts are priced in, okay? Everything positive catalyst that we have, it's priced in. The big beautiful bill, the tax cuts, all of that, that's a known fact. There's nothing new, okay? What else could be coming that we don't know of that could be so bullish for the market? The fact that AI sales for NVIDIA are still what everybody expected, well, we know that, okay? So that's priced in. The rate cuts are priced in. The tax cuts are priced in. What else is not priced in that could be bullish? The very reason the market is trading at the highest valuation historically is the fact that all of these positives are baked into the current price action of the market. And that's the point you, as a trader, should start asking yourself questions. Well, what is the market not looking at or pricing at that they will be pricing tomorrow, next week, next 2 weeks, that could be highly negative for the market? What is that piece of information that could be so negative that the market will finally sell off? Well, clearly, just thinking out loud here, well, everybody expects a rate cut in September. What if we don't get the rate cut? is the market just also going to brush that off and say, well, fuck, we're fine without rate cuts. What the fuck? You know? So at this point, I'm not even looking for any particular catalyst to produce a sell-off in the market. What I am focusing on is the fact, just the basic structure of the market, which tells us, hey, this sort of market environment, which is absolutely obnoxious for trading directional options, okay, with things, they kill both bears and bulls, okay, it doesn't matter which side of the equation you're on, because if you're trading indexes, let's say you bought some calls, well, here comes the 10-point pullback, guess what, you're done, okay, you short something, here comes that bounce, and normally would get another drop. Well, guess what? The market is just stuck. It's just fucking stuck. So you're not getting another drop later in the trading session, which normally would be like, that would be a normal part of the structure of the market, but you're not, there's nothing normal about the market right now. But ultimately, I think it'll get back to normal simply because of what I was trying to explain earlier. The ratio of buyers are gone. Okay, do you understand? If we were in such a bull fucking market, shouldn't we just be exploding, not crawling, not fighting for every 1, 2, 3, 5 points higher on the indices? Shouldn't we just be blasting the fuck out higher? The AI revolution, the rate cuts, the great fucking GDP, what else? What else? The tech, I mean, well, let's just go ahead and hit fucking 70,000 points on the market, okay, just in the next couple of days. Fuck it, you know? So what I'm saying, the reason why that's not happening either is because everything is priced in. And with every inch higher in the market, there's less and less desire to be buying the market at this level. There's still some people buying because, hey, the way funds, hedge funds and, institutional investors, they make their money is they got to put their money somewhere, okay? At inflation of roughly, 3%, which we all know that shit is way higher than that, but all right, let's go with 3%. If they're sitting on the money, they're losing 3%. So, I mean, they got to put it somewhere. And that's why you have this very low momentum to the upside, very little movement, everything's priced in, there's just few little buyers left, but yet we haven't reached a point to where we got a few extra sellers coming in. It's not going to take much to tank this market, guys. I mean, that's probably, if you're a short seller, that's the greatest news, and you got to keep betting on it every day that somebody will fucking wake up tomorrow like a hedge fund and decides to unload some of their positions. And that's what I've demonstrated in a video with a bunch of charts about earnings that I posted. By the way, all earnings trades this week, just total shit. I mean, which actually we had a really nice run on earnings trades for like 40 days. And so this week, it's just all of a sudden, nothing is moving, right? I mean, look, even Dell, right? Shitty guidance, right? Okay, the stock is down, but look how much it's down. I mean, it's down, what, $8 or something, from 134 to 126, 27. I mean, it's not a huge drop. It's not a big money making drop. What I'm saying is, normally, if we would have had Dell announce this sort of earnings report 2 weeks ago, I mean, the stock would be down 20 points. Now it's only down, like, what I'm saying is, sellers, where did the sellers go? And all the retail earnings, right, they're not moving because, well, the expectations on these earnings have been revised so much lower after April that, okay, these companies are beating earnings, but what they're really doing is they're beating earnings that have been revised down substantially. So it looks like an earnings beat, but guess what? If they didn't revise them back in April, none of these companies would be beating earnings. But yet it just looks good. Hey, they beat on the earnings, you know, which were lowered fucking 50% or 30%. Oh, they're beating on earnings. The bull market must go on. Guys, it's just a matter of days till the fucking market is going to correct. So anybody that's been having a bit of a challenge this week, guys, I mean, you don't change your strategy. You keep fucking catching that moment. That transition is going to be brutal. Statistically speaking, it should have already happened. Okay? We're close. There's signs everywhere. Bear divergence in crypto versus the indices. I mean, that's just recent. It's, you know, it speaks louder than any kind of, you know, CNBC discussion or Wall Street Journal article or whatever is garbage that they post out there. I mean, we're so close to a market unwind, and yet there still could be some days, unfortunately, like today, where you're stuck in that bullshit range where just nothing is fucking moving. So what do you do as a trader? You keep getting ready for the next day. That's all you can do. Review the charts. Be ready for tomorrow. Same strategy. We don't fucking change anything. Okay? You see a black candle, you're short. You're short. Okay? Which, by the way, there it is. I mean, I talked about it earlier about Dell earnings, right? Look at the chart. Dell, black candle. What happens next? It drops. Okay. Be nice if it dropped more, but the point is it drops. In the middle of all this, what appears to be crazy bullishness. Well, the market sets all-time high. Well, fucking Dell drops. And there's good reason for it, and it normally would have dropped a lot more. So, bullshit earnings, right? They actually reported a lower sales number than they had last quarter. On year-to-year comparison, the number looks good, but on last quarter to this quarter comparison, the number is shit. It's less than last quarter. So, I mean, how's the stock even up? I mean, it's causing in this bullshit fucking environment where there no sellers. Where are the sellers? What's going to cause the sellers to come in one day and decide to fucking sell? Well, I think when we're going to reach a moment in the next 10 trading sessions, it's going to happen. We're going to wake up and the market is just going to stop. It's just not even going to fucking move. Okay? And people are going to realize, hold on, nobody is fucking buying. Nobody is buying. And just a few sell orders is going to fucking send S&P collapsing. Few institutions decide, hey, maybe we should lighten up our positions today. And just a few of those orders, not even huge ones, you see the shit just begins to sell the fuck off. So, be ready for it. It's coming. It hasn't happened this week, but it is fucking coming. So, stay strong. Be ready for a big payout, guys. And keep your focus on the moves in the charts. We're about to get some big, wild moves. Let's go.